Now at noon, tracking excessive heat. I'll let you know when relief will finally be on the way.
And the final efforts to find a solution to the Columbus City Schools budget issues that do not involve closing school buildings. Ahead, a last try from concerned parents ahead of tonight's school board meeting. Plus,
let me just say I followed the law.
Governor Mike DeWine back in the hot seat following the state's largest bribery scandal. Ahead, the new text messages and his reactions to questions about his involvement. But first, we are starting 10 TV News at noon today. And again, we're starting 10 TV News at noon today with a weather alert. Extreme heat is continuing to cover central Ohio. Right now, the temperatures are nearing 90 and the heat, oh my goodness, it's only expected to rise over the next several hours. We thank you so much for joining us for 10 TV News at noon today. I'm Tracy Townsend. Now, following the heat wave for us at this hour, Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud. Dylan, I stepped out today and stepped quickly back in.
Tracy, that graphic that you just showed, that's going to be the temperature, not even the heat index. So when you factor in the heat index, add on another 5 degrees, and that's how uncomfortable it'll be. All right, let's begin right now with a look at all these excessive heat alerts. And this is not just across the Buckeye State. These extend through upstate New York, even through parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Outside right now, it is 90 degrees. You factor in the humidity as the dew point is increasing. It actually feels like 95, and it's only lunchtime. So imagine by 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon what it will feel like outside. Temperatures right now a little bit cooler once you head off towards London, but heading off towards Newark and down towards the south, we're looking at temperatures feeling like the middle end of the 90s. Daytime highs around 95, so the heat index will be around 100 by the afternoon. A little bit cooler where we have some pockets of rain this afternoon. Temperatures are going to go up before they come back down. 97 here on Saturday, and then finally it gets cooler by Monday, Tracy.
All right, thank you so much, Dylan. We are following some new details this afternoon. The man accused of killing a pregnant woman is now being held on an $11 million bond. 10 TV cameras were in court as Devon Blair faced a judge just hours ago. He has a history of domestic violence. He was arrested several times in the last 6 months. He also had a warrant for his arrest issued just 4 days before the homicide he's accused of committing. Records say 19-year-old Brooke Devaney called police several times on Blair but died Sunday morning. Blair is expected back in court next week. If you or someone you know is living in a situation where there is domestic violence, call the hotline at 1-800-799-7233. There's someone available to talk you through options to help you 24/7. A man who hospitalized a Columbus police officer after punching him in the face is now facing a judge. 35-year-old Deshaun Barnes is being held on a $300,000 bond. He's charged with assault on a police officer and a probation violation. Court records show police were called to reports of a naked man on South High and Sycamore Streets. They found Barnes wearing a loose pair of cargo shorts that kept falling. Police say he ran and punched an officer. The Fraternal Order of Police says that officer was taken to the hospital and will need surgery. Developing at this hour, a teenager is in critical condition after a shooting in South Linden. This happened about 9:40 last night on East 20th Avenue and Hamilton Avenue. Police say a 15-year-old was shot multiple times and taken to Nationwide Children's Hospital. Columbus Police asking for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward with it. Right now, there's no word about a possible suspect. For the 6th straight day, authorities are continuing to search for an escaped inmate who is considered armed and dangerous. Police say Quintel Bagley is still on the run, and now we are hearing from the first people to see him after he got away. Lacey and Brandon did not want us to show their faces or use their last names, but Lacey says she was home with her 2 kids Thursday when Bagley broke into their house and showed up in her hallway. She says that he had his handcuffs on, still on, and demanded her car keys, her phone, and $1,200 in cash.
He said he didn't want to hurt anybody, that he just wanted my keys to my car. I gave him my keys and I thought he would just leave. But there were some police cars going around, and there was one stopped kind of in front on the street in front of the parking garage. So he just kept saying like he couldn't go and they were going to catch him.
The family says no one was hurt. Grove City Police say there are no new updates in the search for Bagley. As we keep our eye on education, the Columbus City School Board is meeting in just 6 hours as the possibility of closing roughly 24 schools lingers. All of this happening after just yesterday, parents held a meeting in their final efforts to find a new solution to budget problems. 10 TV News reporter Kiera Lake is following the latest ahead of the board meeting tonight.
The parents that we spoke to are now demanding a pause on these school closures, and the district has had several community input meetings, but the parents say that is not enough. The biggest concern these parents have right now is how fast this process is moving. But Superintendent Angela Chapman says these decisions aren't being taken lightly. She is now asking parents to trust their process and that this is based in part on utilization. We spoke to several parents, including Elizabeth Brown, and she is very active in the community as the YWCA president and former city council member.
You asked me where they would go if Hubbard closes. I have no idea. There are 4 school zones that surround us. 2 of them, in addition to ours, are on the list for slated closures. The other 2, one is over capacity and one is at capacity.
Just days ago, the task force for the district did wrap up their public meetings, and they're expected to make their final recommendations on this process next week. Reporting in Columbus, Kiera Lake, 10 TV News.
Right now, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine is deflecting questions about his relationship with former First Energy executives. All of this is happening after text messages reveal he asked for money ahead of his first campaign for governor back in 2018. DeWine also seemed frustrated with questions after reporters yesterday asked him about the $500,000 the now indicted CEO put into a PAC for him.
Let me just say I followed the law, and you can look the law up just as well as I can, but you're not going to see me violate the law. We're going to follow the law about coordination.
Already this year, First Energy CEO Chuck Jones and Senior VP Michael Dowling were charged with bribery. Plus, former House Speaker Larry Householder is serving a 20-year prison sentence. Right now, state lawmakers are hearing a proposed bill that would change the rules about seatbelt and booster seat violations in our state. Right now, police officers, troopers have to stop you for something else before they can fine you for those violations. However, House Bill 536 would make it a primary offense rather than a secondary one. The bill still has a long way to go before it would become law. New at noon, Google is now investing an additional $2.3 billion in Ohio. The company says this will support its 3 sites in Columbus, Lancaster, and New Albany. Already, Google invested $4.4 billion since breaking ground on its first Ohio data center in New Albany in 2019. Google says this plays an important role in its AI innovations and customer base. A major pop singer now in police custody. Coming up, why police say they arrested Justin Timberlake in New York and when he's expected in court. And an Ohio firefighter going beyond the call of duty. Ahead, why he's seen springing into action, jumping through an ambulance window, and who police say was in that driver's seat. Developing at this hour, singer Justin Timberlake is in police custody after getting arrested for one count of driving while intoxicated in New York. Court records show Timberlake has been arraigned. However, law enforcement could not publicly discuss details of the ongoing investigation. Timberlake's representatives have yet to comment. His next court date scheduled for July 26. We'll be watching that, of course. President Joe Biden is now taking a major step, he says, to offer relief for potentially 500,000 immigrants without legal status in the country. The White House says it will allow certain spouses of U.S. citizens without legal status to apply for permanent residency and eventually citizenship. Biden will talk about this and his plans this afternoon. We will let you know what we learn starting at 4 o'clock on 10 TV News. As a first responder, you never know what to expect. And this, well, it was no exception.
And then the next minute, I'm jumping in a window of a moving vehicle.
Oh boy, still ahead, the heroic split-second reaction from an Ohio firefighter as someone hopped into their ambulance and tried to take off.
Well, we are tracking 5 more days of the extreme heat. Will any rain cool you down? I'll let you know coming up next.
Broadcast Center is sponsored by Lindsay Honda.
A heat advisory for Central Ohio continues today, and it's bringing more dangerous heat. When temperatures rise like this, so does the risk for heat-related illnesses. Some of the most common include heat rash, heat cramps, heat stroke, and heat exhaustion. Medical experts say the elderly population is one of the groups most likely at risk for heat exhaustion. And this week, Franklin County leaders say that they're stepping in to help older adults by offering them a tool to help them keep cool.
At the Office on Aging, we do offer fans for our Franklin County residents that are 60 and older. And as the result of this forecast, we will be adding Tuesday as an additional pickup day.
That's a pickup in the event that you request a fan from Franklin County. We have a link at 10tv.com/featured links to find out how to do that. Also, remember, you can get help from our community Beat the Heat this summer in just 2 days. 10TV is partnering with Life Care Alliance and 97.1 The Fan for our annual Beat the Heat Fan Day. We'll be kicking off the drive Thursday morning here at 10TV. You can drop off a fan at the station here, 770 Twin Rivers Drive, from 11 in the morning until 6:30 in the evening. And the drive will be running through August 31st. Again, this Thursday is a drop-off day here at 10TV. All of this heat is why we are on this weather alert. We've been talking about the heat dome.
Yes, and it will be shifting to the west, as I'll be talking about here in a few minutes. So, unfortunately, if you think today was hot, just wait until late this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are going to be the 3 worst days. But we'll get through it. We always do. Yep. We will survive to talk about it, right? All right, so as well as the heat, the risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke are higher, as well as sunburn. UV index this time of the year is at a 10. So we're talking sunburn in about 15 minutes. Why is it so high? Because it's a function of the solar angle. So with summer beginning on Thursday, you better believe the sun angle is nice and high. It's 73 degrees today compared to December 21st on the first day of winter. It's only about 27-degree angle. Now, we have the seasons because the Earth is tilted at about 23.5 degrees. And so now with summer beginning Thursday afternoon, the northern hemisphere is going to get all that direct sunlight, all that radiation is going right towards the northern hemisphere. So it begins Thursday at 4:51 p.m. Our daylight now will be about 15 hours, 0 minutes. And then we start gradually losing daylight by the first day of winter. It'll be about 9 hours and 19 minutes to be exact. All right, so we have that weather alert in effect. Friday, Saturday, the worst days, heat indices 100 to 105. It gets pretty bad out there. And the reason why is because of this heat dome, okay? A heat dome is basically a big ridge of high pressure. It's sinking air into the atmosphere, similar to putting a lid on a pot. Like if you're cooking pasta, you put a lid on a pot, the steam no longer mixes with the air temperature in the room. So that heat gets trapped down in the pot. Same thing with the atmosphere. And so that sinking air does 2 things. For one thing, it makes it hot. You know that. The other thing, it reduces the air quality too. I don't know about you. I'm a visual guy. And this heat dome is going to be shifting off to the west here. So this visual might make it a little bit easier to understand. Right now it's over Massachusetts, so they're getting their extreme heat today and tomorrow, but it is our turn right here in the Buckeye State going into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as high pressure will be right on top of us. And you can see it right here. Look up high in the atmosphere. Okay, the troposphere is warmer than average because of that ridge of high pressure. Remember, we just talked about that sinking air. That ridge is going to be sliding off to the west, and you will be feeling that heat full force by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're already feeling it here, but it gets much worse as we head forward in time. The next few days, though, we're going 94, a pair of 94s, 96 here on Thursday. We'll definitely be feeling that. Now, the question is, do we get showers this afternoon? I think so, mainly north of I-70. Once you get south of I-70, I think it's going to be a pretty dry day. But if you're one of the lucky few, a quick shower might cool you off by 10, 15 degrees, which should be nice out there. All right, the red days, no fun, but we will be looking at 5 alert days in a row. And then look at that. Cooler times are upon us with that north wind, which will also lower the humidity by early next week, Tracy.
All right, thank you, Dylan. New at noon, going beyond the call of duty. That's what one Ohio firefighter did this past Sunday when he risked his life jumping into a moving ambulance, all to stop a man from stealing it. Well, today, reporter Caitlin McCarthy from our CBS affiliate in Cleveland shares his heroic story and the video that captured it as it all unfolded.
This is the best job in the world.
Brian Palladino is a Willoughby Hills firefighter.
I like that you can see a difference that you make on people when you're doing it like firsthand.
Whether it's at the firehouse or working as an ER nurse, he always expects his shifts to be unpredictable.
No day is ever the same. You have no idea what's going to happen. Could be we're just hanging out, having coffee, and then the next minute I'm jumping in a window of a moving vehicle.
That's exactly what happened on Sunday.
Panic. I was just like, this guy's trying to steal a very expensive piece of equipment.
While Palladino was making a stop at UH Lake West, this surveillance video shows Palladino jumping into the driver's side window of a moving ambulance to stop a suspected thief from driving off in it.
So I was able to wiggle in the window a little bit more, and I was able to kind of turn the wheel.
Did that suspect say anything to you?
He said he needed a ride home.
Palladino's quick thinking likely prevented anyone from getting seriously hurt or worse. Chief Robert Gandy says his actions were heroic.
He put his life up for collateral to protect a lot of other people out there. He decided to try to get that squad to turn because he didn't want it to go any further.
Gandy says the department is looking into additional security measures for their ambulances.
This opportunity doesn't have to happen again. We don't have to have our firefighters risk their lives to try to make an impact to stop the chain of events of a potential catastrophic situation.
The suspect was arrested at the scene. Palladino walked away with just some bumps and bruises.
This is our job. This is what we do. We help people.
In Willoughby Hills, Caitlin McCarthy, 19 News.
Well, the storms were quick, but they were strong. Ahead, a look at some of the bizarre images coming out of the severe storms that rolled through our state less than 24 hours ago. And stick around for 10 TV coming up all new for you at 4 as we stay cool, or we work to stay cool. You may be wondering how to save money on air conditioning. Our Verified team explains why closing the doors inside your home doesn't actually keep the cool air contained. I want you to take a look at this new video into our newsroom. It shows just some of the damage from the strong scattered storms yesterday in our state. This video is from around Cleveland. You can see a trampoline stuck in power lines. More storm damage is also visible from security cameras in that area. Local firefighters say they got more than 20 storm-related calls yesterday. Hundreds lost power, but no one was hurt. We certainly want people to take care today.
That was pretty bad yesterday. A lot of wind reports as well as hail reports as well. Not expecting as much severe weather today, but keep an eye to the sky.
Have a great afternoon, everybody. Take care.